All right, so two formulas. Like I said, I will give you the formula itself on the quest, but I will not tell you, I will not give you the reminder that your angle measure has to be in radians. You have to remember that, okay? So you do need to know what each thing is that is being represented here. So I do not know why they use S to represent arc length, but that's what we are using to represent arc length is just that S. The R is obviously the radius, and then the theta is our angle measure. And remember, it has to be in radians. Right? Okay. So it's pretty straightforward in terms of plugging in, because we're just S is equal to R times theta. So in this example, this first example, it's saying we have a radius of 25.6. We have this angle measure. So we're truly just going to multiply. So we're doing 25.6 times 7 pi over 8. Now, I will tell you that I will be asking for an exact answer, which means it should involve pi, and then a decimal approximation, which means you're going to plug in using your pi key and get a decimal. So let's look at both of those answers here. If we multiply 25.6 times 7 divided by 8, so the exact answer is 22.4 pi centimeters. So 25.6 times 7 divided by 8.
Is the whole thing divided by, or just the 7 pi divided by?
Well, I mean, yeah, you can, either way, it kind of means the same thing. Because once you're combining that all together, you've got the 25.6 and the 7 in numerator, 8 in denominator. But then if you plug in the value for pi, so 22.4 times, remember your pi key, bottom left corner is where your pi key is. So yeah, in this example, we get 70.37 centimeters. Okay. What's the first thing we've got to do for this second example? Yeah, we have degrees. We've got to convert that to radians. So 144 degrees converted to radians. Juan, what do we do for that? Careful. Divide by 180. Good. So 144 divided by 180. Get that fraction. So what is it? 4 pi over 5. Good. Okay. So 4 pi over 5 is equivalent to 144 degrees. And now we can plug into the formula. So S is equal to R, which they said was 25.6, times this 4 pi over 5. And once again, I'm looking for exact. And then the approximate. So what do we get for the exact on that, Landon?
20.48.
Good, 20.48 pi centimeters, right? And then if you plug in and do 20.48 times that pi, our approximate answer for that is 64.34 centimeters. Okay, pretty straightforward. There are some instances where you're having to solve for something else, where you're kind of working backwards. So I want to show you an example of that. So if you notice, it says the length of an arc is 3 pi. So that means that's our S, right? So we're saying 3 pi is equal to, we don't know our radius, but we are given the angle measure. So we've got to solve here. To solve this, we're going to multiply by 2 over pi. We're going to multiply by the reciprocal, right? So the pi's will divide out, and you just find that the radius, do we have units? I don't think we do. So the radius is 6 units. I just want to remind you to keep track of units, so I'm going to write that in if we aren't given units, okay? So kind of working backwards on those. All right, try these next two for yourself, and we'll go over those answers in just a second. What is going on here today? Okay. So, all right, you converted it to a decimal. So 1.3 repeating pi inches. I'm okay with that. If you kept it as a fraction, it would be the 4 pi over 3 inches. So I'm okay with that. Sounds good. Brock, what'd you get for the approximate?
4.89.
Okay, so let's round nearest tenth. So 4.2 inches.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. All right, and then exact here. Tochi, what'd you get for the exact?
4.9.
4 All right, what'd you get for the fraction part? I've got it written as a fraction, and I'm trying to think if that's going to be close to what it is going to be or not, because I don't have the decimal. Who's got the fraction form for that? Okay, hold on. What is it, Tochi?
175 over 36.
Okay, so 175 pi over 36. What's our units there? Centimeters. Okay, and you said that's what as a decimal? The 175 over 36? 4.9? Okay. Sounds a little, I don't know.
4.8.
Okay, so it rounds. Okay. So yeah, let's not round too much there. 4.86 pi, because that's going to adjust things quite a bit. Okay, so for approximate, Jude, what'd you get? 15.3, good, centimeters, yes. All right, questions on those? Did we get those? Awesome. Okay, formula for the area of a sector. If you notice, the only new thing in the formula is just A, which we know is going to be for area. So formula is similar to what you would think it should be. So that's helpful also. So in this particular example, it's saying find the area of a sector. So 1/2 times 15.2 squared times, we've got to convert that 108 degrees to 3 pi over 5, right? Have to remember to do that conversion if it's in degrees. I'm not going to give you that reminder on the quest. You have got to remember to you're just going to see this formula. You have to remember that.
Is that formula going to be out there, though?
I'm sorry?
That formula will be on the test.
This formula and this formula I will give you, but I will not remind you that you have to, if it's in degrees, that you have to switch it. Okay, so exact answer here, if we do the math, where do I have that? 69.312 pi. And then we're talking area, so it's squared units, so squared feet, or 217.75 square feet. Try that for yourself, plugging in, and see that you're getting that. Because if not, I want to help you with how you're plugging in. I had a few people earlier today having trouble with just making sure they're plugging in correctly there. Okay, so try this A and B for yourself. You're finding area now, so let's try those. Approximate here. So exact answer for letter A. What'd you get, RJ?
I got 75 pi over 8.
Okay, 75 pi over 8. Let's not forget units, so meters squared. Did someone convert that to a decimal? I'm sorry, what is it? Okay, so 9.375 pi meters squared. Thanks, Avery. Okay, and then the approximate for that, what is that? 29.45 square meters? Did we get that? Okay, all right. Christopher, what'd you get for this next one? I'm sorry, say that again. 10.67 pi? Okay, I didn't write it as a decimal, so I got, actually, I don't have it reduced, so let me think about that. 32 pi over 3 feet squared, is that what we got? I hope. Okay, and then the approximate would be 33.51 feet squared. Did we get that, I hope? Okay. All right, pretty straightforward. I do wanna go over a couple of examples here on this next page, and then you're gonna have the rest of the class period to just work on getting your classwork, getting that assignment done and getting it submitted, okay? I just wanna look at these bottom 3. So let's take a look here. Because here's the issue, we're gonna focus middle right to begin with. So we're asked to find the area of the sector. So the area formula says A is equal to 1/2 r squared theta. So we're gonna do 1/2 times 36, but we don't know theta. So we've got to figure out what theta is. So to figure out what theta is, you got to think about the fact that, which by the way, keep in mind, this is not drawn to scale. So we have our arc length. We are told that S is 2 pi. So we have 2 pi is equal to radius, which is 6 times theta. So we've got to solve for theta. So I need you to realize you've got to use the area formula, but you've got to use that arc length formula first because we've got to solve and figure out what theta is equal to. Okay, so it's asking for area, but there's more you've got to do. You've got to use the other formula, the arc length formula first to plug in so that you can get your answer, right? Okay, so now we're doing 36 pi over 6, so we get 6 pi, and we don't have units, so units squared. What is that as? So with the decimal approximation, we're at 18.85 units squared. Okay. All right, the bottom left is similar to that in that we're given information, we're supposed to find the area. But we don't know theta, so once again, we're having to use this formula and plug in. So we have 12 pi is equal to 12 theta. So you find that theta is just equal to 1 pi. So half of 144, so 72 pi would be our exact answer, and that gives us, I'm looking, 226.195 units squared. Kind of trying to go through that one quickly just so that you have that to kind of go back and look at as an example, but we kind of talked through it more thoroughly there, so. Okay, last one here. So in this one, if you notice, we are given the area. We've got to work backwards and we have got to figure out our theta. So our formula says 1/2 r squared theta. We're going to plug in 36 pi equals 1/2 times 36 times theta. So half of 36 is 18. So if we divide by the 18, we get that theta is equal to 2 pi. So yeah, in some instances, you're kind of working backwards. So that's kind of what's happening, or you've got extra work you have to do. So I kind of wanted to share that with you guys. Okay. All right, classwork and homework are those pages on this, so let me see what pages those are. Page 32 is just if we feel like we want or need to do a little bit more review or practice, so we will skip that. So your classwork is pages 33 and 34. Okay, and I want you working with somebody or asking questions of me so that if you need help, you can get help